All right, we are live. We're doing all the live stuff, right?
That's right.
Anyway, Corey is not in the house yet. He has some full-time job stuff to do. He'll be in a little bit later on, and he'll also be a part of our 1923 thing that is going to air on Saturday. Before we get started, though, I do want to let you know, hey, Ole Miss fans, our friends at DeadSoxy have a unique way for you to back your favorite team. By subscribing to the Ole Miss NIL sock subscription, you can get the latest, freshest socks and also directly support Ole Miss athletics. You're not just a subscriber, you're a member, and as a member, you get perks like top priority access to Ole Miss socks, a 25% discount, and free shipping. Plus, you can score free pairs of limited edition Juice Kiffin socks when you sign up. This is an example of their socks, and if you look over my shoulder, there's an example of socks that they have for the schedule going out based on what Ole Miss has asked fans to wear. There's no membership fees. There's no fuss. You can pause, skip, or cancel at any time. Just add a pair of NIL socks to your cart, set your delivery frequency, and you're all set. Head to DeadSoxy.com now and join the Ole Miss NIL subscription. I'm here with Jake Thomas and Jeb Beecham. Like I said, Corey Burton is going to be stopping by later. How are you guys doing?
Pretty good, I think.
Yeah,
at least for the moment.
Yeah, doing great. And
Rolling pretty good.
Yeah, we got Rick back.
Yeah, SEC Media Days has taken over all of our timelines and all of our thoughts. Believe it or not, my other job, my Locked On Ole Miss podcast, which you'll see the background for today with a couple of video clips. I got some like attaboys from like management for a couple of my shows that I did, and I'm pretty fired up about that. Really like what's going on. They apparently liked the Ole Miss will win the West episode that I did on Monday. If you go after that, they didn't watch after that. After that, we get more and more ambitious all through the week. And then tomorrow, Lane Kiffin is speaking. So Friday's show is going to be like video clip central. It's going to be crazy. It will be the most ambitious show that we have ever done. I'm having way too much fun with this, and I probably should be censured. Seriously. Mm-hmm. So, Corey, Alberta is in the house. Alberta's in the house. If you do not show up, you get a picture of your rival sitting to where you normally are. So if you are not here, you get that. If for some reason I was not here, you would see Bully pop up there riding the mailbox. Jeb would be Mr. Commodore, and Jake obviously is Aubie. And I tell you what, if Jake's ever not here, you guys are in for a treat because that is a really fantastic picture.
Oh, you got a new one now?
It's him laying down like Burt Reynolds on the bearskin rug. Oh yeah, it's pretty good.
Nice.
Corey is a Bulldog.
I'm not sure if I'm more insulted that you make Mr. Commodore my picture or that you think that's Tennessee's big rival.
Yeah, be over 60% winning percentage against them, and we can talk. In the last 10 years, you're 6-4.
Yeah, in
the last 10 years, you're 6-4.
Yeah,
you can't really play. They're not a rival whenever you can't beat them all the time.
What are we in the last 20? I bet you we're 16-4.
That is some Mississippi State math.
Yeah.
They pick a year that they have the best record against Ole Miss, and that's where they talk about.
I'm not picking a year. I'm saying the last 20 years, last 30 years, last 40 years.
Or the last 10. Hey, just go back to last year. Y'all just beat the brakes off of them last year.
Hey,
and that was with Vandy playing for a bowl game.
The last 16 years against Alabama, y'all are 1-15, so.
I need you to stop talking.
Hey, Tennessee hasn't beaten Ole Miss since 2010.
Oh wow, I did not know that.
Yeah.
We never
they beat them
during our real downturn.
Yeah,
they're excited they beat Derek Dooley. I'm sorry.
Derek Dooley's actually the only coach that beat Ole Miss.
That's saying something.
Yeah. Because Butch Jones, Lane Kiffin, and Josh Heupel have all lost to Ole Miss.
Wow.
And they beat them so bad in Neyland Stadium that they just embarrassed the whole state.
We played Ole Miss while Josh Heupel was here?
Yeah, last year.
You don't remember that game? golf ball.
Golf balls and the mustard bottles and all that.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I was thinking of Lane Kiffin. You're right, but
Yeah.
he was y'all's coach. Yes.
Yeah.
And Lane Kiffin's
He's all I
Lane
remember from that game.
Yeah, Lane Kiffin was the coach at Tennessee when we wouldn't watch the game, and Dexter McCluster ran for like 4,000 yards.
I remember that one. I remember that. Yes. I blocked the golf ball thing out of my head altogether.
So, all right, let's go ahead and get into this, and we're going to start talking about Georgia before Corey gets here, because after he gets here, I want him to talk about other things, because this is his wheelhouse. I wanted him to have to answer questions that he just doesn't want to, because his favorite stuff has already been gone. That is my goal today. So we're going to talk about Kirby Smart talking about how his expectation is that Georgia will be good. And it's like, okay, Captain Obvious, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look at that schedule, for one. I mean, if they lose, their toughest game is going to be against Ole Miss and Tennessee.
Yeah.
So, and they get Ole Miss at home. So,
Absolutely. And this is what Brock Bowers had to say about this season in Georgia football.
Yeah, I think Coach Smart talked about it a little earlier, but it's kind of like the whole thing that better never rests, and we're trying to battle complacency. And coming off of 2 national championships, we're just trying to stay hungry and be the best we can be every single day. And I feel like we've been doing a pretty good job at that, and we just got to keep it going throughout fall camp and into the season.
To me, does Brock Bowers not look like Anthony Michael Hall from like Vacation?
That's
he
good.
really does.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Little bit more of a jacked version of him. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, remember Johnny Be Good, where Anthony Michael Hall was the high school football star that was being recruited, and like he was recruited by Old Tex, and it's like, come on, guys, you are better than this.
Yep.
That's what Brock Bowers reminds me of from SEC Media Days. I like Brock Bowers, by the way. He's one of my favorite players.
He's really good.
I like his comments there, though. It's just our real problem is we're so good. Are we just going to like sleepwalk through one of the games and not pay attention enough that we actually end up losing?
Well, they sleepwalked through Missouri last year nearly, so.
Yeah.
That's true. And that is their problem. Like, I get it. He's not wrong, but.
Alabama dealt with it when they was in their prime, so.
Yeah.
Sleepwalking.
And Georgia is going for the 3rd consecutive national championship. And the last team to win 3 in a row, I think, was the Minnesota Golden Gophers in the 30s.
That's wild.
It is absolutely nuts. And Georgia is the overwhelming favorite at this point, I think, to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, they probably should be. That's their biggest problem is having a new quarterback come in and take over the system, As long as he can do that, and their quarterback isn't required to come out and be a superstar like Tennessee's is. So, honestly, they have to be the favorites.
Yeah, it's interesting. Rick and Bonnie says, better never rest per Kirby. That was their motto. They talked about how the Georgia Bulldogs watched videos and did research on the New Zealand all-black rugby team. And they're the most dominant athletic team sport team in the history of sports. Over 100 years, they've won probably 70% of their games. And so actually they got a shout out from the New Zealand All Blacks, that team, talking about basically the lack of complacency and all of that stuff. So it's pretty cool. Corey's very fired up about it whenever I was talking about stuff that other than what Corey wanted to talk about. I wanted to blow this subject up right away.
That would be really cool to get a shout out like that. I get it.
Yeah.
And since they're going through an amazing time right now with these back-to-back national championships and being favored, they might as well enjoy the heck out of it. Sorry.
Yeah.
I can't get mad at him about that.
Man, I'm trying to figure out how Georgia will be derailed. How it would be, I don't know, how that would be a problem.
Well, the old saying is, this is a scenario if it happens, but Ole Miss plays Georgia this year. It is at home, but just say Ole Miss somehow does win the West. They always say it's always tougher to beat teams twice in a season. So I mean, Ole Miss could sneak up in the SEC championship game and get them if they so happen to lose in the regular season.
Wes Avent just said that he put $1,000 bet that Vandy beats Florida this year.
You're gonna be $1,000 richer.
I believe that. I think Florida has massive dumpster fire potential this year. But it's like I told you on Facebook, man, or Twitter. Vandy is in supreme show me mode at this point.
Yeah.
I need Vandy to win that 6th game, and to do that, they've got to beat Florida. But I do need them to win that 6th game.
I think we said they got to beat Florida and maybe Auburn as well to get there, get that 6th win. So,
Hey, didn't we say that Vandy has a winning record all time against Auburn?
I think you're right. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. No, and this Rick pointed out the Vols, and actually this works for Vols and Ole Miss. I think if you're talking about how they could possibly get derailed this season, I think the only way is Georgia is not going to be set up to win any kind of shootouts or anything like that. If you could find a way to neutralize their defense and actually put points on them, you could beat them. The problem is nobody really finds ways to put new points on them.
But Joe Milton can throw an orange 100 yards.
Well, that's nice.
I mean, Tennessee just got to do all go routes in that game.
Yeah, and we do have a couple players that are very fast. So, but I just don't like. It worked occasionally last year. We had Jay in the Hot put up 5 touchdowns on Alabama, which was just amazing. And the only reason we were able to beat Alabama. If he could do something like that against Georgia, then yeah, maybe they have a chance. But
who's going to be that guy though?
Yeah, that's what I don't know.
You're right.
And maybe Scroll White, maybe Deontay Thornton, but honestly, against Georgia's defense, Tennessee is definitely not shown that they can game plan around Georgia yet.
And I'm going to tell you, you're going to have to find a way if you're going to beat Georgia. Not only doing that, finding ways to score against their defense, but you got to find ways to stop Brock Bowers, and nobody's done it yet.
Yeah,
Yeah, and they'll put up points either way. That's true.
Right.
It's just I feel like Tennessee would win a shootout if it came to that. The problem is I don't see how they get to that.
Right.
I think we're in a situation to where if for some reason anybody can match up with Brock Bowers, they already play on Sundays.
Yeah. That's true.
But real quick before we move on to another subject, Kirby Smart also had a chance. He talked about the possibility of moving the Georgia-Florida game, which is a hot topic of conversation, which leads me to neutral site games. And as a couple of schools that were formerly neutral site schools, and Tennessee is going to do it this year, I am interested what y'all want to think about that. But this is Kirby Smart talking about the Georgia-Florida game.
Chris Farblin, KSU 80.fm. The Florida-Georgia game is a rivalry that's been in Jacksonville for several decades. It's one of the most storied traditions in the SEC. But the future of the game's location has been in question with potential renovations to TIAA Bank Field. You've been vocal. You've said that you believe the game is better on campus. Could you go into more detail on why you believe the game should be played at Gainesville and Athens?
Well, first off, you misspoke about the game. It's the Georgia-Florida game. Okay, so I want to clear that up. But for us, I really don't care where the game's played. I want what's best for the student athlete, and I want what's best for our program. Unfortunately, if you consider that to be a premier matchup and a national game, there's no recruit that will ever take an official visit or get to visit the campus while the game's in Jacksonville. That's just physically impossible. So both universities, not just Georgia, lose out on an opportunity to showcase their campus in the greatest light there is. And to me, that's really important. Every university I've been at, you had that feature game that everybody in the country wanted to come watch. Now, with that said, in the ever-changing landscape and the speeding up of recruiting, more kids are getting recruited in June in official visits, and they're finishing, like right now, the number of commitments we have. So less effect the season has on coming to games. So that's probably less than some. And with the renovation of the stadium, we're probably going to get to see how it is playing at a different location in the next 2 years.
Yeah, and it's whenever it comes to neutral site game, I am team never play neutral site games in college football. And I get that the Georgia-Florida game is a big game. I get that the Oklahoma-Texas game is a big game. But let's face it, Texas A&M and Arkansas is a made-for-TV event. Tennessee playing in Nashville, they have no business doing that. That game would be better in Neyland as well. As somebody, the Auburn and Alabama game used to be in Birmingham pretty consistently.
Yep.
The Ole Miss State game was in Jackson. Both of those got better when they moved them on campus. Jake, what says you about neutral site games in college athletics?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Kirby. I think it ought to be like a home and home, just for the recruiting aspect. Now, he does make a good point about how recruits nowadays are committing in June, July, and first part of August. But still, you would like to have a high priority game like that be played on the campuses. That way, the kids can enjoy that atmosphere. So I agree 100%. Let it be a home and home series.
What about you, Jeb? What do you think about the game against Virginia at Nissan?
Well, that one worked out because I didn't want to go to Virginia. But no, I actually agree with that too, because I mean the biggest people you're trying to get to the games are the students and then your fans. And honestly, most of your fans are they're used to traveling to the school, and that's where they want to go for the games. I don't think you're getting a whole lot more fans at neutral sites like Georgia and Florida. I don't know how many Jacksonville people care about that game. So you've got everybody having to travel anyway into that stadium. I like that every other year it be at your home stadium, where you're used to being, where you tailgate, where the places you want to go and hang out, and people you want to see, and that kind of thing. It just makes more sense to me. But I mean, I don't have a problem with neutral site games, mostly because Tennessee didn't really get involved in too many of them, outside of you're right, Nissan Stadium against Virginia, but whatever. But that's not a regular thing either. So I mean, every now and then, just for fun, maybe. But.
Hey, what was it when your cousin got married? I think they were playing in Nissan against like Bowling Green, in like 20. I don't know when that was, maybe 2017.
Which honestly worked out better for me because I was in the middle of Tennessee. That's where I lived.
Yeah.
But I still would rather go, if I'm going to do a Tennessee football game, I want to go to Knoxville and have the full experience. I mean, that's what makes it fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, everybody needs to go watch a game in the erector set that is Neyland Stadium.
Oh, they're about to remodel it again. It's going to be so much fun.
Oh, wow.
They're going to put up like shopping centers and hotels and stuff around. I don't know. They're going a little crazy. I don't know if they're really going to do all that, but we'll see.
Yeah. Should be pretty cool as well. One situation, we started out with Georgia, obviously. But Hugh Freeze playing Ole Miss, and I've talked to multiple people that have said that Hugh Freeze has circled this game. This is a major deal for Hugh Freeze, but this is what he had to say about the Ole Miss game.
John Sokoloff with WCBI down in Mississippi. I know you played against Ole Miss with Liberty a few years ago, but now that you're back in the SEC, you're playing against them this year, and considering your history with Ole Miss, what kind of emotions are you expecting out of that game this year?
Oh, gosh. I hadn't had a chance to think about that one. Well, the emotions I had when I went back, when I was coaching at Liberty, I would think that probably was I don't know that I'll feel a lot of emotions since I've already done that. And it was back in Oxford. But the day couldn't have gone any better other than the outcome. My family was welcomed, loved on, line at the bus to welcome me there and to see me after the game. I think most people there have great fond memories of what we did there. And obviously we're disappointed at the same time with the way it ended, but I think when time has a way of let's remember the great times we had together, and it's home to me. I mean, I was born and raised there, and so it'll always be a special place. But I have great respect for what Lane's done there, and I have a lot of friends there, and he's doing a nice job. But I really hadn't. They're coming to our place, so it won't be like I'm going back to Oxford. It would just be me, and that's been a long time. I mean, that'll be 7 seasons. So it's not like, it's not like it was yesterday or So I don't think I'll have a lot of emotions other than the fact that I'm going to want to win.
Yeah, I mean, of course he's going to want to win.
Right.
Like I said, I've talked to Auburn people all the time that says he's absolutely circling that game as a almost must-win category because that Ole Miss game is right after they play Georgia and LSU as well. So it should be quite interesting to see what's going on.
Get that reptile out of here.
And Corey is sitting here talking all kinds of ball. Apparently, the Innsworth High School is next week. Corey won't even be here because they want their players to have to rough it in fall camp and like down facilities. So they're doing fall camp up at Austin Peay.
Yeah, we had to downgrade for a week just to see how the other half lives. Yeah. So yeah, we're doing 2 days actually. So we're gonna practice like at 7 a.m. and then like at 7 p.m.
Oh, that's going to be a mess. That's going to be a mess.
Probably so, but
yeah,
whatever.
Yeah. You missed us talking about, we played clips from Kirby Smart and we played a clip from Brock Bowers. So you missed all the Georgia section of the podcast, which was exactly my plan, that you would not be here when we did that.
Because I might try to poke holes in how I think Georgia's not going to. No, Georgia's going to be freaking good. Let's just be real about that. Georgia's going to be ridiculous again.
Yeah. Yeah. So all you've missed, we saved Jimbo for you, though, by the way. Sweet. That's what Real Housewives are. It's the Real Housewives of College Station. And you have a situation to where Jimbo Fisher is being very non-committal and almost combative when talking about what will Bobby Petrino's role be this year. And this is Jimbo talking about just that.
Hey, Jimbo, Bob Holt, Arkansas Democrat.
Yes,
is
sir.
that? Bobby Petrino, I think this is the first time he's been an assistant since 2002. So he's used to calling plays, being the guy in charge. You've been calling plays probably forever. So what's the dynamic going to be like on game day? Does he have total freedom to call the plays, and kind of how will that work? And is it hard for you to give up, play calling?
No, there's a lot of things, and you're still involved in what goes on. I'm not going to get into what we're doing, how we're doing it. Again, I'm not trying to avoid anything. I just don't want to create you create advantages or narratives out there for what goes on. But listen, Bobby was hired for a reason, and he's a tremendous coach and tremendous guy and a tremendous football mind, tremendous recruiter. He's done a great job recruiting since he's been there. Everything he does, and he'll call a lot of. Hopefully he'll call the game. We'll have suggestions on things we do, and whether it's offense, defense, every coach is always involved. It's a more collective thing than people want to give it room for. And then when you get to calling, you get on a roll, you got to have a guy that can do it. And I think Bobby can definitely do that. He does it as well as anybody in college football.
Yeah, that's an interesting situation, Jimbo Fisher, because A, he's the most smug human being on the planet.
Yep.
And he just does not like to be questioned, and his ego is so bruised about how bad they were offensively and how the College Station has put Bobby Petrino almost in the savior complex that Jimbo Fisher just has to basically put down what's going on to make himself look better and also treat Bobby Petrino almost like Charlie Weiss Jr. at Ole Miss. It's like, well, maybe if he can do it, hopefully he'll be able to do it. And it's like, come on, Jimbo.
Right.
Yeah. Oh my God. This is going to be a train wreck. Let's just be real about it, man. It's going to be a train wreck. Man, I can't wait I'm getting my popcorn ready. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, you have to watch A&M games now just for the first time. It starts to come off the rails and how they're going to react in that, because that's going to be fun to watch. I hope they have cameras on the sideline to see those two start butting heads when their offense is not going perfectly for the first time.
See, what Bobby Petrino's going to do is, you know how Jimbo has his notebook of just spilling out everywhere. Bobby Petrino's going to walk by and just smack it out of his hand like 1980s high school bully style.
Jimbo's playbook.
It's a lot thicker than that.
Oh no, Steve! It's much more disheveled than that.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen it? No. I'm talking take file folders, dividers, sheet protectors, loose paper, and a spiral notebook, and just shove it all together.
Into an old Trapper Keeper.
Not even a Trapper Keeper. Just shove all of that stuff just randomly into the spiral notebook, and wear your glasses right here on your nose, and you've got Jimbo Fisher on the sideline. That's what it looks like.
Lord.
it's going to be interesting to see the first time they go like a 3 and out.
Yeah.
How it's going to play out, because in the next series you're going to be seeing Jimbo probably try to get his hands involved in the offense a little bit.
This offense on a real level is going to look so disjointed. It's going to it's going to be two guys that can't relinquish control, and it's going to be like you're going to see the fight play out on the field. Even if you can't see them fighting, you'll see how it affects the offense, and it's just going to be so disjointed. It'd be like that first year Bobo was coordinator for Georgia. It looked disjointed because Mark Richt just couldn't take his hands off of it quite yet.
Hey, do me a favor and bring up Texas A&M's schedule. If you could do that, yeah. And let's go over what they look like, best case, worst case.
All right, bringing that up right now, but let's see. The 23 football schedule. Okay, so I don't know if I can share my screen. This is let's see if I can present here. Share screen. Nope, can't share screen. Okay. Maybe I can. Hold on, let me try that again. Share screen. Oh, I can. All right, here we go. All right, can you guys see my screen?
Oh, no.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
Very
Can we see this here?
Oh, yeah.
Right. Okay, so you got New Mexico.
Win.
All right.
You got at Miami.
Ooh.
Fun. Okay.
Okay, I'm paying attention on that one.
They could start unraveling there.
Yeah.
ULM.
Watching that.
That's a W.
Early Auburn.
It's at home.
Yeah.
It's a win because it's early Auburn.
Yep.
Here is the tricky one. I don't know if you guys can see my cursor, but here's the tricky one.
Oh, there's so much tricky about to happen with them.
Oh
my
Alabama,
God.
at Tennessee, at South Carolina, at Ole Miss. Ooh.
Look at this run right here.
Oh my goodness.
That's not an easy game because Arkansas is pretty sporty on defense. They've never been bad on defense. Their offense might suck, but they've never been bad.
Good running back. But yeah.
Great running back, great quarterback, but Dan Enos on the controls. I'm not sure about that yet. I'm not convinced. That's going to be a smack in the face. That'll be a smack in the face.
Mm-hmm.
This game is far from
home,
easy, but it's far from easy. Like South
Right.
Carolina is much improved.
Yeah, if Spencer Rattler, he could be a decent quarterback at that point.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, by the end of October, I mean he could be hitting his stride, and then at Ole Miss, like when does Ole Miss play Bama?
September.
Okay.
Yeah, we got them early.
So if Ole Miss can somehow upset Bama, and they're on a roll, with a possibility of winning the last ever Western Division title, look out. I mean, that game's going to be tricky regardless.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think Ole Miss plays Bama the 23rd of September and LSU the 30th.
Mm-hmm.
So by the end of September, we'll know exactly what the old gauge says on Ole Miss football.
That's true. That's a rough early schedule. Huh?
Mississippi State and
That's
Abilene Christian, they'll get some reprieve there. And then LSU will be a smackdown.
Yep.
And then that SEC championship, they could just wipe that off the schedule here. They could probably update their website.
So what is that? 6-6 potentially.
Like
8-4.
They could very easily go 0-5 in this stretch right here.
Right. Absolutely.
1-4. I think 2-3 is best case in this stretch, with a win here and a win here.
Yeah,
I think that's their best case scenario.
It could absolutely go off the rails.
No.
Because I mean, easily. Now let's ignore the fact that Texas A&M can't seem to beat Mississippi State. Okay, let's ignore that. But if you look
this
at
game, just got a whole lot trickier.
Yeah. After all of that, they get Mississippi State. That Ole Miss game, Jimbo's going to have that circled. Alabama game, Saban, you think he's going to have that circled?
Mm-hmm. Of course he is.
And this is like the first time that Tennessee has played Texas A&M. If I'm not mistaken.
First time I can remember.
Yeah. So
Well, we established earlier that I don't have a great memory for this.
Terrible.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, whenever they scheduled Missouri and Texas A&M and they came into the league, it was absolutely terrible. It was a mess, and and I mean, it was so bad.
Yeah, it was weird. But you're right. I don't remember ever playing A&M, so
Yeah.
I hardly ever think about them when I'm thinking about SEC games.
And it's quite possible that Texas A&M ducked you because they if they had a quarterback injured or something, they just played. Their whole team had COVID, and they didn't play Ole Miss in 2020.
Dan said they played against Dogs one year. Apparently, A&M did.
Really?
I didn't realize that.
Okay.
Nah, I don't remember that.
That's been a while though. Dogs been in the league.
You're right. I think Tennessee went out there,
Yeah.
like in 16, maybe. I think 16, something like that. They played Auburn there too. I remember that being an epic game, same year. Like A&M was like winning some of these like games they shouldn't have, or 15, 16, somewhere in that ballpark. Let me look that up.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah, and Bobby Petrino has a history of basically being an asshole to coaches. I mean that is a history that is in there.
And I think Wes is onto something right there.
Yep.
They did play in 1957.
Ooh, was that General Neyland, or was General Neyland done by then?
Might have been done by then.
That went to overtime.
Looks like they played in 2020.
Did they?
Week 16, 2020.
No, that doesn't sound right.
Week 16.
Let me.
Yeah, they played Week 16.
God,
they did play in 2016. You're right about that. But it went into double overtime.
Yeah.
Look, okay, I'm gonna here. I'm gonna share my screen again. Here, look. All right, can we see it?
Week 16.
Just a second, I gotta take this off.
Gray is that. Swing pass out into the flat, and getting loose is Princeton Fant. He's got a first down and more.
Okay, unshare your screen. You're gonna get us dinged.
Play action.
Yeah.
Ding.
I don't remember that.
I don't either, but apparently it happened.
It definitely went Week 16 though.
Maybe it was like because the season started late. I guess it was theoretical week. I don't know why they called it Week 16, but it was late.
Yeah. Week 16.
Oh, so that was all that COVID year. Yeah, that COVID year was so weird.
Man.
I don't know, Chauncey. I mean, there's a reason Jimbo said it come in, and I just think Jimbo's thinking he's come in for a different reason. But Bobby wants a head coaching job.
Yeah.
Bobby is gunning for that job.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll get it, but he's gunning for that job.
Right.
Oh, fun fact. In 2020, do you know how many games Tennessee won that year?
5. They went 5-5, didn't they?
0. They vacated them all.
Oh.
Yeah. That's right.
Oh, yeah.
That was
You're trying to throw the assistants under the bus now. He's doing like an appeal. He's like, yeah, I had some rogue assistants and like the boosters and the administration. They were all part of it, you know.
Man, I want to hate on him, but he did try and get Tennessee out of it. So,
I mean,
Chauncey, you know what I mean. You know what I mean by gunning for that job, right, Chauncey? Like he's gonna sabotage his way into that job is what I'm talking about. Yeah, of course. Like 99% of college coaches would love to coach in the SEC at Texas A&M. That's not what I mean.
All that money.
I mean Bobby Petrino is going to try to snake his way in there.
He's going to Ed Orgeron, Les Miles that situation.
Yeah. The hard part is how do you sabotage him without hurting your own reputation? You know, if he's running the offense. I mean, he can do it. I'm just saying he's got to be careful.
I mean, he's good at that.
You know, Big Dan brings up there, said the only thing that scares me against A&M is Anaya Smith and Musin Muhammad. Don't forget about, what's his name? Is it Evan Williams or is that Whiskey?
That's Whiskey, definitely.
Yeah. Evan Stewart. Look out for him at wide receiver because he's a freak. He's a dude.
Dude, they got pieces. They've got dudes. They've got the offense to be able, like with the talent they have, they can win the West. They had the talent to win the West last year with Devin Achane and all those same cats.
But they only won 4 games.
But guess what they couldn't do? They couldn't put it together because their head coach couldn't get his what together. So
they couldn't stop the run.
And they couldn't stop the run on defense.
Mm-hmm. You have a defensive line that's literally the best defensive line that money can buy. And Ole Miss runs for 400 yards against you. Absolutely nuts.
Yeah, it is. So simple guys, Bobby will not ask for much. I don't believe that one bit. Kiffin will want too much. There is no too much for A&M. If A&M wants Kiffin, they will throw the bank at him. They'll make him say no. He probably will say no.
I do not think that Texas A&M is going to throw a bag at a coach this time because they've done that 3 straight times and none of it has worked.
They have to.
They're going to find somebody.
They're going to.
But I think honestly, you might see a situation where Texas A&M hires the up and coming G5 coach, seriously, and pays him $3 or $4 million a year, and they just completely stock that NIL coffers and just build that up.
What's the name of the dude that went to Colorado from Kent State? What's his name?
Sean something, I think.
Sean Lewis.
Yes.
I would go after him. He's going to be good. He was great at Kent State. He's trying to parlay himself into a Power 5 job. That's why he went with Prime. But he is real good.
Yeah. And we love to clown on Texas A&M. We love to clown on Texas A&M on the show.
They make it so easy. They make it so easy.
But it's funny that they just kind of got too big for their britches because of all the money in College Station and the recruiting. And obviously they pissed off the SEC offices because they went and got their natural predators and brought them into the conference. And you can see them squirming now. Yep. They have such an inferiority complex when it comes to Texas.
And Texas kicks the door in at SEC meetings and they're like, what's up?
That GIF, I have no idea what movie it's from, but it's Bradley Cooper and Louis C.K. and it's like people going to the celebrating going into an office. I have no idea what movie it is, but it's absolutely hilarious. Where Bradley Cooper's listening to Ross Bjork saying, "We want to be the only team from Texas in the Southeastern Conference," and fantastic work. Whoever did that, it was fantastic. And what movie was that? If y'all know what GIF I'm talking about in the chat,
Jeb.
I do not know this GIF.
Yeah, that movie was done in the 2000s at least, so that's after Jeb's time.
Trying to think of I don't remember Louis C.K. being in any movies. At least with Bradley Cooper, that's a pair I would never guess would work.
Yeah, it's absolutely hilarious. It's one of the best things I've seen.
It says they were together in what is this? American Hustle?
I
never saw that.
There it is. Yeah.
Okay.
But it is just going into an office and celebrating, and there's one guy moping on the couch, and it's Louis C.K. and they put Texas A&M logo over that, and it showed Texas and Oklahoma celebrating with all the other members in there, and it was all the SEC schools, and just Louis C.K. was just sulking on the couch.
Oh, poor A&M. I don't feel bad for A&M. So yeah, that's hilarious, man. Jeez, that's gonna. It's a train wreck. Jimbo just. I just don't understand why. You do so well recruiting, but then you squander it and then let it all hit the portal. There's a reason why they had a mass exodus.
Yeah, and everybody's talking about this huge recruiting class is a little bit older or whatever. No, they've lost 3 or 4 members that were top 100 players already.
Yeah.
It's not
And they
just
were
Denver Harris that left.
Right.
Yeah. Don't understand the punishment for Pruitt.
And he get like a 6-year show cause?
He did.
Yeah, 6-year show cause. The university got fined $8 million, which is the most for any.
The NCAA is just a corrupt organization. Ole Miss would have gotten 6 years bowl ban if they would have gotten caught doing that. Ole Miss is the one that's absolutely got screwed in that situation.
Yeah, I mean, both things can be right. Like I'm glad that they didn't punish the people who weren't involved at all.
Yeah.
But
Believe me,
Steve, you definitely have a point. Like Ole Miss would have gotten hammered, and it wouldn't have been fair because it would have been the same situation where like not a soul at that not a soul playing for that football program or coaching that football program had anything to do with any of that. So like you punished them for something they had no part of. It's like,
or the athletic director. I mean, nobody there.
Yeah, it's like what are you trying to accomplish here? Like what are you punishing them for? Because it'd be like me spilling something and then you whipping Jake for it, you know?
That's all fair. And if you want to talk about that and look at the kids and all of that's going on, but the reality of the situation is you can't hammer one school and just all of a sudden turn the blind eye after that.
Oh, I totally get that, Steve.
Yeah.
I agree with you on that. Like I totally get that.
Yeah.
That's why we hammer. That's why we make fun of the NCAA. That's why we say who the hell is the NCAA? You know, that's why, because they will drop the guillotine on Ole Miss, but they will just slap Tennessee on the wrist, essentially.
And listen to this. I'm going to put on my tinfoil hat for a second, okay? So apparently there was a state congressman that said if Tennessee got a bowl ban, they were going to pass a state law against the NCAA in similar fashion that other states are doing, to where they literally threaten the NCAA.
How does that?
And Tennessee's government is messed up enough. They might do that.
Yeah,
they probably would.
Texas has already done it. Missouri's passed state laws as well. Texas has a state law that it forbids the NCAA from investigating their member institutions, and that includes collectives. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
How do you do that?
Football rules the world.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's kind of sad, actually.
Yeah, they're doing all of this stuff, and the reality is this is where they're pushing this, and this is the mistake down the road that they can make. The NCAA can control two things: the eligibility of the athletes and the membership of their institutions. And you are now pushing the NCAA. It's like, okay, if you do not want to play by our rules and there's nothing we can do about it, enjoy the NAIA.
Mm-hmm.
That is the only option that they are putting on the NCAA at the moment. And granted, I just talked about the NCAA. It is a corrupt, terrible organization, but making this worse by doing these state laws and this crazy stuff is not going to help the situation.
It's going to make it worse. Like you're going to see college football, because of this, start to erode into something unrecognizable. Like it's going to, it's going to have no choice but to split away and try to figure something out. And it just won't be the same after that.
Yeah, and they seem content on just waiting to let it all implode before they do anything. Like,
right.
Nobody wants to step up and start trying to fix this.
No.
Yeah, and Greg Sankey basically whining on Monday, like saying we need congressional help. If you're counting on Congress to do anything, I can't help you. I've lost all faith that anything can happen the moment you say Congress needs to get involved.
Yeah,
Congress hasn't done anything in years.
You might as well have asked Santa Claus for help.
Yeah, that's not happening.
Yeah,
Santa Claus. We got a committee of Santa Claus, the Easter Bunny, and the Tooth Fairy, and they're gonna
a Texas A&M national championship.
That's their centerpiece, the Texas A&M national championship trophy.
Do you know that Texas A&M has not won a national championship in one of the big three sports since the 1930s?
Wow.
I think you said that last week, I believe. Yeah.
He's going to
Dead
probably
last
say
in the
that.
Southeastern Conference.
Nice.
Well done, well done, A&M. Well done.
And Texas has a losing all-time record to Vanderbilt.
Also well done. Vanderbilt is they have a losing record right now against the construction crew. Have you seen
Oh,
that?
yeah.
No, I don't care what anybody says. That's a win. That place is going to be half full anyway. Why delay construction and risk it to where 2 seasons are affected instead of 1? I applaud Vanderbilt for going ahead and getting that started because that place is going to be half full anyway.
Well, didn't they tear up half the field? Like, what are they going to play, a 50-yard field?
But they can install the field turf and get that fixed in a day, 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
And they've got 6 weeks to get it right, or less than that. They're week 0.
So they're hosting Hawaii. Yeah, they better.
Yeah, so they
better
got to
start
get it
booking
done.
some plane tickets. They ain't gonna get that crap done. They ain't gonna get that field fixed.
Well, you got
No, that's field turf. You can do that in a day.
but
Theoretically, but all the red tape you have to go through probably.
Steve,
And all
Steve-
like the shipping issues and all the material issues that you're probably gonna have with construct. Like, it's not that simple.
Steve's got a good point though, because I mean, week 0 game, nobody's going to fly in from Hawaii all the way to watch Vandy and Hawaii play. So Vandy will have 100 students there, and that'll probably be it.
It's gonna be a mess to try to. It's gonna be a mess to get to the stadium. It's gonna be
Yeah.
like they're gonna have to. I guess while the construction's going on, they're gonna have to figure out a way to like block it off to where they can. I mean, plenty of stadiums have been under construction during season, so this is nothing new. It's just hilarious. An SEC institution is like, almost the entire stadium is knocked down. But I'm glad they're actually renovating. So we'll take it.
Yeah, really. It's like it's starting. It's going. Now, what I would have done if I was them, I would have just put the Nashville FC stadium in and used it.
Yeah.
That's what I would have done. But I'm sure this will be fine as well. I mean, we'll see exactly what happens. Vanderbilt is the all-time. If you look in their schedule, Vanderbilt probably is the most points scored against your favorite SEC team, no matter who it is. Vanderbilt used to in the 1920s and 19-teens, they were a problem. And they just were embarrassing people.
Yeah, they put 70 against Alabama. Yeah. That's the most anybody's ever scored on Alabama in school history.
They put
that's weird to think about. Huh?
90 against Ole Miss.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure they did something similar to Georgia. I didn't look at the record books, but I'm sure they did something similar.
Vandy was a problem. And their other real big problem is whenever we started really paying attention to college athletics, they were already good and bad again, and they were already bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So they didn't get the growth that everybody else had.
Yeah. And speaking of Vandy, I tried so hard to catch up on some of these SEC Media Day, and I tried to watch Clark Lee, and I just couldn't stay awake for his. I just couldn't.
Robot.
It was bad. Like I was like, maybe he's getting a little more personality. He's not.
I am Clark Lee.
Now, is it
welcome to Nashville? We have a really good city here. We hope you enjoy your time. I'm reading the speech on a prompter.
I don't think it's beyond the pale to think about that. All of a sudden, Clark Lee becomes a story in the Southeastern Conference right at the same time that AI has become a super hot item.
Yeah, so it exists in humans, and that human is Clark Lee. So, like, listen to these other coaches. They sound like humans. Like Sam Pittman sounds like a human. Kirby Smart just gets up there and just. I mean, he's just ripping through that stuff. And Drinkwitz is like got his like. No one understands what the hell he's saying, but it's like he's too smart for the room. But he's like has some personality, which he's going to need every bit of that because it's going to be a rough go for him this year. But you got Billy Napier. I haven't heard Billy Napier. I really care to hear Billy Napier. But
Wes Avent put $1,000 on Vandy to beat Florida.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Whoa!
Yeah,
can I borrow some money? You got some cheddar if you're putting $1,000 on Vandy beating Florida.
He's gonna be $1,000 richer.
Can you Wes, can you donate to the show? Like, you got some disposable income there, pal. I love it, dude. I love the confidence.
I mean,
Yeah. Look at my DeadSoxy display, everybody.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Uh-huh. And I got a socks. Before we get out of here, I do want to read the fact, hey there, college sports fans. Want to show your allegiance down to your socks? DeadSoxy has you covered with vibrant socks in your team colors. Whether it's purple and gold, crimson, or cardinal, DeadSoxy is the place to go. Found a player that you like? Subscribe for big-time perks like a constant 25% discount, early access to exclusive styles, and free shipping, plus welcome to new members with a free gift. So why wait? Find your new favorite socks at DeadSoxy now. Promo code After Dark. Put that in there. That will be something that we can use as well.
Promo code After Dark. DeadSoxy.
After Dark.
DeadSoxy.com. Stay soxy. Steve, you're going to have to reach behind you and grab that box there. I kind of want to see up close what that thing looks like.
Yeah.
I'm afraid it will fall over, but one of the socks is this pair of socks.
Yeah.
I was just trying to look at the nifty packaging it comes into. Florida's situation right now, I believe Vandy could, if Florida's in, I don't know what the hell.
Well, what I was going to say was, last year Florida got embarrassed by Vandy, and that team was a lot better than this team's going to be.
Vandy should have beat them a lot worse.
Yeah. So it could be ugly. Is that game at Florida this year? Is it at?
Yes, it's in Florida.
That's why I don't think it'll be ugly. I mean, it'll be ugly in the fact that it's just
if Vanderbilt wins that game, it's ugly.
Yeah.
Well, I think what Jake meant by ugly was Vandy's going to roll all over them, which I don't think they're going to roll all over them in the swamp, but they could very well beat them.
Vandy winning by 2 scores is rolling all over them.
Yeah, that's
it. Definitely would be.
Vandy winning at all, I guess, is rolling over. So I sit corrected. Okay.
I want to see how early that was. It's fairly early in the season, so kind of midway.
Hey, when Florida had the number 4 quarterback in all of college football, or the number 4 player in all of college football, Vanderbilt boat raced their ass.
Yeah.
There goes our clean rating. I was watching that documentary.
We lost earlier with Jeb.
Yeah, well. All I said was hell.
What'd you Google, Jeb?
No.
Something about All Blacks. I don't know. It was a long story.
You can actually Google that. Because you'll get the New Zealand rugby team. So you can actually Google.
They're that popular, that'll just come up right away.
You can actually Google All Blacks, and that's probably what you'll get.
Yeah. Who wins the ACC, FSU or Clemson, for Locked On or ACC After Dark?
FSU. FSU's going to be nasty this year.
All right. Before we also leave, Wes has a question. Does Judkins hit 1,800 yards?
I think so. Total, like all purpose or rushing?
I think he probably means rushing under that situation.
I think he definitely hits it all purpose. I don't know that he hits it rushing because I think he's going to be involved more in the passing game. So some of his touches will be in the passing game. So that'll probably eat at his rushing stats, which doesn't really matter. It's going to be all purpose yards anyway. So he's going to be heavily involved. So I don't think it's going to.
Yeah, I think rushing wise, Judkins is going to be more effective and a better player with 1,200 yards rushing.
I was going to say about 1,200.
I was going to say 12 to 14. I think is his range, and then another probably 500 or 600 in the pass game with screens and bubbles and things.
I just have a suspicion that Jackson Dart's getting ready to go off.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Was Ole Miss is probably be better this season if he's not hitting 1,800 yards. Because it means Jackson Dart is probably
Jackson Dart's going to go off so bad that Spencer Sanders is going to win the Heisman now. Spencer Sanders is going to go play at Incarnate Word.
Yeah, I think we had a question earlier in the chat about where Spencer would be transferring.
He can't really.
Yeah,
transfer.
he can.
He can. If he goes down a level.
Yeah.
Which. I mean, at this point, if he wants to play, I would go to like Incarnate Word or like Eastern Washington or like Sam Houston or James Madison, one of those like FCS powers that throw the ball a lot.
Well, James Madison's in the Then they moved
That's
up this
right.
year.
They did move up.
Oh, yeah, they moved up. Is Jacksonville State FCS or FBS this year?
They're still FCS, I think.
Yeah, I think next year they're moving up to FBS.
If they have 1 year and they want a rental at quarterback with Rich Rod, Spencer Sanders would make all kinds of sense for that system.
There's their guy.
Ooh, that would be so sick.
Uh-huh.
I'm trying to think now who's the powers down there now. So you could go to Weber State. That would be
It's basically all in the big sky.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like Montana State. I think didn't Montana State win it all?
I think they did.
Or was it no? Crap.
It was South Dakota.
South Dakota.
State.
South Dakota State. Yeah.
Jackrabbits. Yeah, South
Yeah.
Dakota State. Like you
The
go there,
fantastic
like, go to North.
nicknames.
Yeah, go to North Dakota. They have not North Dakota State, North Dakota. They sling it. Incarnate Word had a really good season.
Their
San
coach
Diego
is
State.
Know that word.
their coach got hired somewhere.
Their OC, I think, got hired at Washington, I believe,
Okay.
or Oregon State, somewhere, because the quarterback went with him somewhere in the
Okay.
Pac-12. Might have been Oregon State. No, Oregon State's DJ Ukulele.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was Washington State, I believe. Washington State.
That was Cam Ward.
Washington State.
Yeah.
I think he was an incarnate Word. I think that's who it is. Their head coach went to be like an assistant at Wazoo when they fired Rolovich,
Okay.
and they hired the interim guy who's done quite well actually out there.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty fired up at the moment about the way college football is kind of trending. Now, Nick Saban was today. He did say that Nick Saban actually said that Pete Golding left the job for a better opportunity or another opportunity, or in his eyes, a better opportunity. It wasn't a fired situation or anything. So that was interesting, but we don't have a Nick Saban clip to play for it, and so I mean we kind of have to make do with that. Tomorrow, Josh Heupel and Lane Kiffin.
That'd be fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Lane for sure.
I like Heupel. I like hearing Heupel talk. I mean,
Yeah, I do too.
I'm starting to kind of appreciate Josh Heupel, and I don't root for Tennessee, but I do enjoy watching Tennessee's offense play.
Yeah, it's exciting.
And I think Josh Heupel's a hell of a coach, and I wish he would not coach Tennessee.
Jeb, he sounds a little scared about that game.
You know, because Georgia has all these problems. You know.
Yeah.
You know, we don't have a tight end. We don't receivers.
We haven't quite figured out Georgia's defense yet. We're working on that.
Our defense is just not good. And, you know, we're having some O-line issues. I mean, we only had, we only had 3 preseason all conference linemen.
Corey, honestly, the biggest, and we talked about this before you come on, but the biggest issue for Georgia this year is complacency. You just can't get lax.
Yeah, they're not. Kirby's
So,
not
hey,
going to let that happen.
Hey, they got laxed against Missouri last year. You can't say they won't because they about did.
God almighty, dude, there's always one game. I mean,
Okay, I mean you can't say they're going to get. There's going to be one game this year too.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. You just got to have
but it's
one
not a
game
whole
against a
season
team that
worth.
doesn't matter.
No, I didn't say it was a whole season. I'm just saying you can't get complacent.
This year, can that one game be Tennessee? If you
It
don't
could
mind?
be. It could be.
No, I think it should be
appreciate
the
that.
team before Tennessee.
it'll be South Carolina. That's what it'll be.
Yeah.
Ole Miss
We're trying to get our what together with Carson, but like that'll be Carson Beck's first like real game. So like
but Spencer-
that'll probably be kind of tricky, but
Spencer ain't that good until like midway through the season. So
it'll be one of those like. It's not that we're not necessarily gonna lose to South Carolina. It's just gonna be one of those games where you're like Missouri, where you're like, what the hell is going on here?
Yeah.
And and it's just like the offense is just not clicking. One of those type games. Like we have one of those type of games every year, and luckily defense bailed us out when Missouri honestly should have won by like 2 or 3 scores.
you also kind of lapsed against Kent State too.
Yeah, that was.
Hey, by the way, before we get out of here, how about basically that reporter for the AJC getting fired.
Nice.
Good for him.
Uh-huh.
Well, I mean, he fabricated some stuff, man.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
Yeah, if you're going to try and print something that serious, that lax, that's obviously designed to make the social media mob pay attention and cause something like that, yeah, you deserve it. Because when Georgia said, hey, we've got 2 names, give me the other 8 names, and they wouldn't do it, and it was like, you just made up stuff. You used anonymous sources and made up a story, and that is the reason people can't stand the media these days.
And UGA finally called him out on it. And he left his previous job. He got fired for the same reason, or he resigned for the same reason.
Michael, welcome, buddy. We're about to get off the air, and picks are coming back. Yes, I think we're going to do Week 7 picks. We're going to have T-shirts. We're building a store at the moment, and one of the stores is going to be in your honor that says, I lost picks to Becky, or Becky beat me in picks.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yes, something to that regard. Jeb is going to be, don't search that.
Don't search that. You can't do Google because I get kicked out because
it's going to be one of those like white print, white shirts, it's going to be all white. Because he couldn't search Georgia all whites.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Jake will just have one that says #1 Auburn fan.
Yeah, no.
Can we do all-star changes? Don't ask Jeeves that.
Yeah,
Lycos can't retrieve that.
Prodigy. Oh,
yeah.
Coming at you, SEC After Dark, coming at you in 56K.
That would be me. LL disc for the win for Jake. Yeah.
All right. Real quick, I'm just going to take the reins tonight, Corey. Thanks everybody for joining the show tonight. Next week we'll do another episode of SEC After Dark for Corey, Jeb, and Jake. I'm Stephen Willis, and this has been SEC After Dark. Tune in to our shows on Locked On Ole Miss, on Bleav In Georgia Dawgs, on Tide Talk Live. And Jeb, what are we calling your show? Worth a Watch, I think.
Worth a watch, yeah.
Whenever we do Worth a Watch, it's coming. Jeb is constructing.
Worth a watch.
Jeb is constructing. Jeb is constructing his set.
Yeah,
worth the wait.
I'm building it.
He's building a set. He's got like a model of like the Critters character and a bunch. Yeah, there's some cool stuff that is happening.
Jeb, serious question.
He's actually been in our show. You just can't see him that well back there. If y'all ever seen Critters, I love this thing. I found this at a crap. No, what kind of show are we at? Some kind of show.
I woke up in the middle of the night and saw that thing. I'd run for my life.
He's been behind this for like 2 weeks now. Nobody's noticed.
Jeb, serious question.
Yes.
What's going to happen first? Your set design or McDonald's ice cream machine working?
Yeah, I know. I haven't gotten either because I got to buy stuff for it, and I just been busy.
But he's going to be. He's buying like shelves and all that. Like he's doing a real set.
Okay.
I'm gonna put a whole thing behind me.
You're gonna
so I can have things like the Critter. Yeah, I've got some movie props. I got all my DVDs. All kinds of things put back there.
Nice.
Fair enough.
You got to put it together still too. Though is a problem.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, don't ask me to put it together. I'll probably screw it up worse than.
Yeah, me too.
4 more short months. I'll have it all done.
Tim the Toolman Taylor.
Yeah.
I mean, on Friday I'll tell you about this little red mark on my nose here when we talk about episode 5 of 1923.
Yes, seriously.
Right.
Holy cow!
Everybody tune into that episode of 1923 on our YouTube page Friday night. We're on episode 5. We're doing a rewatch.
TGIF.
And with the writer's strike and everything, I think these episodes are going to be mighty important whenever they actually come back to actually doing the show. So you're going to need a refresher.
In 2027, we're going to get like 1 million views on these recaps.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty fantastic. Anyway, this has been SEC After Dark. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll catch you next time. Remember, hotty toddy.
Go Dogs.
Go Vols.
Roll Tide.
In Italian.